in a dilemma right now. You and I living in this country, we are faced with this problem where they will corner you and I'll ask you, do you condemn this group? Do you condemn that group? It's very, or kids in public schools. Again, kind of like it used to happen, it's back again. Kids are telling me, the kids are calling other Muslim kids terrorists in the schools. Now, what do you do with that? I have few small suggestions, because in this country, things can be misunderstood very easily. If you say, no, I don't condemn this group, this means you're siding with terror, because some of these groups like Hamas is labeled, recognized terror group by this country for right or wrong reasons, but that's what it is. Now, you do accept that our Islam, you have to admit that Islam teaches us that we do not harm civilians. Start with that. Yes, I do. Don't answer yes, no question. So I do recognize, because our faith teaches us, our Prophet taught us that we do not harm innocent people. And of course, you're not talking to a kid, like say your boss, your coworker, your supervisor. I have been through this. You don't think you will not be asked. You do get asked. Hey, what do you think about this? What are you going to say? But then tell them that killing of innocent people is bad. And if he's a person in power, some dunya power, tell them, why don't we raise our voice about independent war crimes investigation? If there are independent investigations, I would be happy to support that. I would be happy to sign a petition with you. War crimes investigation, but they must take place for both parties. The one with the big guns and those who used to have rocks before and now they have small guns here and there. I would like that. Because look, brothers and sisters, and I tell this to all Muslims, never ever condone and be happy on the loss of unarmed people, no matter what faith they belong to. That's who we are. We have to put our anger aside and we have to admit that any innocent person, child, woman, unarmed, non-combatant, we do not condone their killing. Look, I share with you one short story, very powerful story. This is in Sahih al-Bukhari. Two of the beautiful, amazing companions, Sayyiduna Zayd ibn Dasna, radiyallahu anhu, and Sayyiduna Khubayb. I don't know his last name. SubhanAllah, interestingly, I think in Bukhari also just mentions Khubayb and Zayd ibn Dasna. So anyway, they were caught by the Meccans. Very emotional, very powerful story. This story has a lot of things about their love for Rasulullah also. But I want to bring you to something very, very special here. One of them, and there's a message for Muslims too, a lot of things to take. Inshallah, someday the whole story from start to end I will cover for you. You have heard this maybe 10 years ago. I remember sharing the story about a decade ago, but I'm going to give you just a part of that. Inshallah, I'll bring it back again sometime. The man, either Zayd or Khubayb, one of them, he said, I know you're going to kill me, but I don't want to meet God without cleaning myself. My hair under the armpits are overgrown. Can you give me a knife so I can clean my armpits, underarm hair? And I promise I won't run away or anything. And he was already a hostage. This is a Muslim hostage, a Sahabi. This is the tarbiyah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. While he's doing that, he has a knife. Subhanallah, the house he was held captive as, this is in Sahih al-Bukhari. The woman, her child, runs and starts to play around the man and sits near him. He tells him, hey, go away, go to your mom. And he's sitting there. And she starts to him, oh my God, he got my son. He got my son. He's going to kill him. He's going to take him as a hostage. And he told her, this guy is going to be hung tomorrow. He's going to be hung tomorrow. Sayyidina Zayd and Khubayb both were to be hung in public. And the woman who was holding him captive, she said, I swore to God that give me this man so that I kill him and I drink wine in his skull. This is the woman. Look at the animosity. That woman's child is in his hand. He could easily hold him hostage, say, let me go, or the child goes. He says, woman, don't worry. Our Prophet taught us never to hurt children and women. I'm not going to hurt your child. Our Prophet taught us not to hurt children. This is who we are, my brothers and sisters. Tell these people that. This is our legacy. This is our deen. So if anybody did that, we are against it. But let there be an open investigation. Number 2. Tell them, you know the root cause of this whole thing? This started not even 1948. It started from the time when British made promises, some other powers, that we will create a homeland for the Jews. And I'm not against Jews. You know, remember, in this country, even when you criticize Israel, it's equated Israel is equal to Jew. So explain it to them that I don't mean that. Because look, some of the people are scared to say the right things. So you have to use a very careful language. Tell them what I'm against now is things that are internationally recognized to be bad, which is, remember my second point, settlements. Not 1948 settlements, even though the root cause is way before. The root cause is so messed up that imagine somebody comes here and says, my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather lived here. What you people are doing here, get out of here, this is my place. That's exactly what this logic is for. So I'm not even talking about that, forget it. I'm talking about those settlements that are illegal according to the international law, recognized by United Nations. United Nations, unanimously recognized. Resolution number 446, 452, and things like that. 446 and 452, just remember that. A little bit of homework for you. Tell them number 3, point number 3, remember, women and children. Number 2, settlements. Number 3, settlements are illegal now, even according to the Israeli law. You heard me. Even according to the Israeli Supreme Court. Not too long ago, only 2 years ago, their parliament passed a law that now they can take the entire West Bank, which is what they're working on. 8-1. 8-1, Supreme Court of Israel voted that any settlements in the West Bank are illegal, June of 2021. Yes, even according to the Israeli Supreme Court. Tell them that. Number 4, Americans definitely would appreciate this. Tell them, do you know how racist and how cruel the policies of this state are, that they are you know apartheid? Do you know what happened to South Africa? That's what's happening in Israel. It's an apartheid state, even for those who are citizens of Israel. We're not talking about people of West Bank and Gaza. Arabs living in Israel. Christians living in Israel. And number 5, not just apartheid, the color racism. Even though the Israeli constitution till this day says, or so-called parliament, they don't, by the way, they don't have a constitution like we do, modern states. They say our constitution is Torah. So they use the book of God by justifying that anyone who is a Jew can come and settle in Israel. You land there tomorrow and you can claim benefits, citizenship, and you may be given a home, piece of land stolen from some innocent family. Yes, you heard me. That's what it is. However, but if you're non-white, if you're black, If you're a black person, person of color, no matter how Jew your roots are, how Jewish you are, you can't have that. That's why just recently, more than 50 black Jews, the entire families were deported. So you see the racism? Color racism, black and white. It's because the ultra right-wing policies, which this country is very scared from the ultra right-wing group. It's Ashkenazi and European, the white Caucasian Jews, they have more rights. They are treated better than the black Jews. In fact, black Jews are often told, you're not Jew, you're fake. Racism, racism, give it to them, brothers. This won't hurt your job. In fact, on the contrary, you may find some allies actually. So, oh man, racism? Man, I'm with you on this. Yes, racism. Use that language of racism. Which is true. It's true. It's a fact. They live in below substandard life, even the black Jews. And number 6, according to their own court and according to their own military court investigation of Israel, one in every 10 soldier of IDF is involved in crimes. This is not a Muslim saying. This is not our news outlet is saying. However, my brothers and sisters, which brings me to the next important point, do have some good, reliable resources there for information. And do pass it on. It doesn't hurt if you share something from Al Jazeera English, if you share something from TRT, or there's another good channel called One Path Network, well researched. They have entire teams and they know what language to use. Language is very important because I have seen it. I have been in interfaith programs where a Christian person is speaking in favor of the Palestinians and call him, oh, you are an anti-Semitic. You are an anti-Semitic. A'udhu billah. But imagine if you have these sources of information where Israeli Supreme Court, where you have their own military courts are finding out crimes, what would they say then? Don't be like what our leaders are today. Most of our leaders, the other day we had an instructor from Western, female instructor, elderly. She was walking on the road. I gave her a ride. Wallahi, this is what she told me. She said, you know, your leaders are chickens. This is the word she used. They're chickens. They're doing nothing. It's black and white, very clear. You can see it, that these are open crimes that are being committed. War crimes, brothers and sisters. White phosphorus being dropped on innocent people. But Muslim leaders are doing nothing but lip service. Lip service. Nasallallahu al-afiyah. Any of these leaders, they don't represent Islam. They may represent their countries, their nationalities. You know, don't get me wrong here. You know, some people worship their nations. Don't get me wrong. But these people, they don't represent Islam. They may represent a territory, a piece of land, a country, but they don't represent me. They don't represent Islam. They don't represent true God-loving Muslims like you who care, people of Gaza. They represent themselves. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us true representatives for you and me. True Muslim leaders. True, qada, inshallah. A real qa'id. May Allah give us those, like Khulafa al-Rashidin. Remember some of the key points that I laid out to you. There's no point reiterating the news and whatever is happening. Number 1, please do recognize the wrong is wrong, no matter who commits it. And give people what Islam teaches us. We do not condone killing of innocent people anywhere whatsoever. But at the same time, we demand that what's happening to our people is far beyond even a comparison, far beyond. The root cause of modern day tension is settlements, encroachment, no defined borders of this apartheid evil evil bringing state. This has to be stopped. And this has been agreed worldwide, and even some of their own people like Supreme Court. And also we are against apartheid like non-Muslims were. Gandhi was, tell this to your Hindu bosses or whatever, Gandhi was in favor of Palestine and against Israel because Gandhi was against apartheid. And today, people who have pictures of Gandhi in their homes are standing with the other party, against their forefathers, against their grandparents. So, and we are against the racist policies, we are against racism. These people are victims of racism, people who are living inside, and the crimes of war are being committed by the IDF, recognized by their own people. And I told you, sixth point was that you must give them some media outlets that are giving some valid information, like Al Jazeera English, and many other channels. There's a Middle East Eye, that, TRT, One Path Network. These 3-4 channels are the ones where you can find small and big, depending on what their level is, documentaries about the history of the conflict. You give them that, and you inshallah, you'll be safe. You have to do your job. Otherwise, you can't just sit here and say, oh, I'm doing dua for my brothers and sisters. This is dua without dawa. You have to do something. Find one non-Muslim that you will talk to and you will educate. Just one. And that one could be for your first drop of rain. May Allah give you an tawfiq. So make that action plan. Make that, and now let's make dua. Let's make dua for our brothers and sisters. And do not underestimate the power of dua. When we were making duas 10 years ago for Gaza, they had rocks. Today they have something better than the rocks. They know how to, give the hard time in the battlefield. They know something. Alhamdulillah. It's a barakah. It's a blessing of dua. I believe in that. It's not us, it's God Almighty. And help of Allah will come, but we have to do some action. May Allah give you an tawfiq.